Hello class, our topic is all about graph of rational function. In this lesson, you are expected to represent rational functions and determine the domain and range, intercepts, zeros, and asymptotes of a function. But let's have a review about plotting a function in the Cartesian plane. But first, let's recall the component of the function. Di ba yung function ay merong output and input? What is the output of the function? The variable y, or the f of x. And then, what is the input of the function? That is simply the variable x. I have a table here of x and y values, but the y values are empty. Let's complete the values of y. But how can we do that? As you can see, we have different values of x, the negative 2, negative 1, 0, 2, and 3. So that values are the input. We will substitute each of those values in the function of y is equals to 1 over x minus 1 para ma-determine natin ang corresponding values ng y. For example, if x is equal to negative 2, if we are going to find the function of negative 2, we will simply substitute negative 2 sa x ng function. E di magiging f of negative 2 is equals to 1 over negative 2 minus 1. So the corresponding value of y sa x is negative 2 ay 1 over negative 3 or negative 1/3. So, ang pair value ng x and y ay negative 2 and negative 1/3. Same goes to the values of negative 1, 0, 2, and 3. We will simply substitute that sa x ng function, then you will get the corresponding y values to each of the input. The f of negative 1 is 1 over negative 2. The f of 0 is equals to negative 1. Then, the function of 2 is equals to 1. And then, the function of 3 is 1/2. Ayan, na-complete na natin yung table of values of x and y. The next thing we do is plotting of those values in the Cartesian plane. To give you an overview about the Cartesian plane, ang Cartesian plane ay binubuo ng dalawang perpendicular numbered lines where you can plot ordered pairs of number. The horizontal line of the Cartesian plane is the x-axis, while the vertical line of the Cartesian plane is called the y-axis. Since we have the ordered pairs of numbers na nasa table, ito yon yung x and y values, we can plot them by locating the x value in the x-axis and then the y value in the y-axis. For example, yung negative 2 and negative 1/3, ilocate muna natin yung negative 2. And then, we will go down to locate the negative 1/3 value naman sa y. Just remember, x value muna before y value. In order to represent the function in the form of graph completely, we need to know about the elements of the graph. The first one is the asymptote. It refers to the line which continually approaches a certain point but never crosses it. So in simple words, it is a line that a graph or a curve approaches but never touches the line. So kumbaga ito yung boundaries ng graph natin. We have two asymptotes, the vertical asymptote and horizontal asymptote. So, obviously, yung vertical asymptote is a vertical line and then the horizontal asymptote is a horizontal line. Sa pagkuha ng vertical asymptote, we will consider the denominator of the function. For example, ang function natin na given ay f of x is equals to x plus 1 over x minus 2. So, we will consider the x minus 2. We will get the x value by equating x minus 2 to 0. Bale, itatranspose mo lang yung 2 sa kabila, then change the sign. So, x is equal to 2. Ang katumbas niyang coordinates ay 2 and 0, since ang meron lang value ay yung x. Then sa horizontal asymptote naman, we will get first the coefficient of x in the numerator and then the coefficient of x in the denominator. Yung sa given na function natin na x plus 1 over x minus 2, ang coefficient ng x sa numerator ay 1 kasi x lang yon. And then yung sa denominator naman, ang coefficient ng x doon ay 1 kasi x lang yon. Therefore, if we are going to divide those coefficients, since 1 sila pareho, then the y value is equals to 1. Kapag naka-coordinates siya, the horizontal asymptote is 0 and 1 because we only have a value of y. Let's plot horizontal and vertical asymptotes. Yung sa horizontal asymptote, since ang point na nakuha natin kanina ay 0, 1, then wala tayong value ng x. So, matik, the point is within the y-axis. And then, the vertical asymptote, since wala tayong value ng y, therefore, the point is within the x-axis. Kapag na-plot na yung point, we will draw a line. Just like in horizontal asymptote, we will draw a horizontal line at the point 0, 1, and then a vertical line on point 2, 0. Let's proceed to the next element of the graph, which are the x and y intercepts. The intercepts refers to any given point of the curve which intersects the axis, or a point of the curve that touches the axis. The y-intercept touches the y-axis, while the x-intercept touches the x-axis. In order to get the value of y-intercept, we simply let x be equal to 0 and then we will substitute 0 to the x variable. For example, for the function of x is equals to x plus 1 over x minus 2, kapag sinubstitute natin yung x na 0, it will become y is equals to 0 plus 1 over 0 minus 2. The resulting coordinate will be 0 and negative 1/2 since we only have the value of y variable. And then sa x-intercept naman, we will let y be equal to 0. For the function of x is equals to x plus 1 over x minus 2, the f of x will be 0. So, ang resulting equation natin ay 0 is equals to x plus 1 over x minus 2. Then, to simplify the equation, we will multiply x minus 2 to 0. So, parang cross-multiplication lang din to. So, x minus 2 times 0, automatically 0 yon because any number or variable multiplied by 0 will be always equal to 0. And then, 0 is equals to x plus 1. And then, let's transpose the 1 to the other side of the equation. Therefore, x is equals to negative 1. The resulting coordinates is negative 1, 0. Because this time, we only have the x value. So, let's plot the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Remember, our x-intercept is negative 1, 0, and the y-intercept is 0 and negative 0.5. As I said a while ago that the x-intercept must lie within the x-axis or dapat matamaan niya yung x-axis, and then yung y-intercept naman dapat matamaan niya or dapat nakalay siya within the y-axis. In the x-intercept, since wala tayong y-coordinate, we will plot the point on the negative side of the x-axis. And then sa y-intercept naman, wala tayong x-coordinate dito, so we will plot the point within the negative side of the y-axis. Yung y-coordinate natin dito ay negative 0.5. But we can plot this point sa pagitan ng 0 and negative 1. So kapag hindi whole number yung coordinate natin, pwede naman nating i-estimate kung saan natin ipa-plot yung point natin. The next element is the zeros of the function. The zeros of the function is the x value which makes the output be equal to 0. It is also the x-intercept since the method is the same when we are getting the value of x by letting y be equal to 0 or f of x be equal to 0. And then the last one, the domain and the range. Let's recall the function. Meron tayong domain at saka range doon, di ba? Yung domain doon is the value of x, and then the range doon is the value of y or the f of x. But this time, in the rational equation, the domain here is the set of all values that the variable x can take, while the range is the set of all values that f of x or variable y will take. Sa pag-determine ng domain and range, we have restrictions. And then yung restriction na yon sa domain and range or yung hindi dapat isama sa domain and range is the asymptote. Gaya nga ng sabi ko kanina, yung asymptote like vertical and horizontal, they are the boundaries of the graph. Kapag meron tayong boundaries, hindi niya pwedeng matouch yung wall na yon or yung boundaries na yon. Kaya excluded siya or hindi siya dapat kasama sa domain and range. The restricted value in the domain is the vertical asymptote. Ano yung value ng vertical asymptote na nakuha natin kanina? It is the x is equals to 2. So kapag nag-formulate tayo ng set of domain, ang isusulat natin ay bracket x, e, tapos capital letter R, then may line, x is not equal to 2. Ang ibig sabihin nito ay all x is the set of real numbers, but x should not be equal to 2. Or x belongs to real numbers except for 2. Sa range naman, ang restricted value natin dito ay yung horizontal asymptote. Ano yung horizontal asymptote natin na nakuha natin kanina? The horizontal asymptote is y is equals to 1. Therefore, ang set natin for range ay y, e, capital letter R, and then my line, and then y is not equal to 1. Ang ibig sabihin naman nito ay all y is the set of real numbers such that y should not be equal to 1. Or y belongs to real numbers except for 1. Okay, let's draw the graph of x plus 1 over x minus 2. On the left side, we have the table of values of x and y, which is the f of x. We have the values of x, which are negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, in order to plot more points and madraw natin ng madali yung graph kasi pa-curve siya, diba? Gaya nga ng sabi ko kanina, yung domain natin or yung x values, so kahit anong values yan ng x, but excluding the vertical asymptote value. So we have the x values here, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, or pwede nyo siyang dagdagan para mas mapadali yung pagdadraw nyo ng graph. And then sa corresponding value ng y nun, syempre, isa-substitute nyo muna yung x value sa x plus 1 over x minus 2. And then kapag nakuha nyo na yung mga y values, pwede nyo na siyang i-plot sa Cartesian plane and then connect the points until madraw na natin completely yung graph. By the way, I use GeoGebra application para makadraw ng graph. So, pwede nyo rin gamitin to kung nahihirapan kayo mag-drawing. Tsaka solid talaga yung visualization ng graph dito. Try natin sagutan yung what's more. Sketch the graph and determine the parts of g of x is equals to 2x minus 1 over x plus 2 step by step. Yung parts na yon, Yun yung elements of the graph. The asymptote, intercepts, zeros, and the domain and range. The first part or element is the asymptote. Okay, unahin natin yung vertical asymptote. Again, yung concern natin sa vertical asymptote is the denominator of the rational expression. Ano yung denominator natin dito? X plus 2. And then, i-equate natin siya sa 0. Transpose 2 to the right side of the equation. The value of x is negative 2. And then, kapag naka-coordinates na siya, it will become negative 2, 0. And then, for horizontal asymptote, we will divide coefficient of x in the numerator to the coefficient of x in the denominator. Ano yung coefficient ng x sa numerator natin ng rational expression? 2x minus 1. Ano yung coefficient ng x doon? 2. Kasi ang coefficient ng 2x ay 2. And then, sa denominator naman, ang coefficient ng x doon ay 1. Therefore, the horizontal asymptote is y is equals to 2 over 1. Then, y is equals to 2. The coordinates of horizontal asymptote is 0, 2. And then, let's plot the vertical asymptote and the horizontal asymptote. And then, draw a line. Kapag yung point ay nasa x-axis, we will draw a vertical line. Kapag yung point natin ay nasa y-axis, we will draw a horizontal line. So, dapat perpendicular sila with each other. The next one is the intercepts. To get the y-intercept, we will let x is equals to 0. Okay, kapag sinubstitute na yung 0 sa rational expression, it will become y is equals to 2 times 0 minus 1 over 0 plus 2. Then y is equals to negative 1 over 2. Therefore, the coordinates of y-intercept is 0, negative 1 half. And then, sa x-intercept naman, we will let the y or g of x be equal to 0. So, 0 is equals to 2x minus 1 over x plus 2. Simplify the equation by multiplying x plus 2 to 0 equals 2x minus 1. X plus 2 times 0, sabi ko kanina, automatic 0 yan. And then, equals to 2x minus 1. Transpose negative 1 to the other side. Magiging 1 is equals to 2x. And then, divide both sides by 2 in order to isolate the x. So, our x is equal to 1 half. Therefore, the coordinates of the x-intercept is 1 half 0. So, let's plot the y-intercept and x-intercept. So, sabi ko kanina, yung y-intercept, dapat nakalay siya within the y-axis. And then, yung x-intercept naman, dapat nakalay siya within the x-axis. As you can see, yung x-intercept, so 0.5 yung x-coordinate niya, diba? So, inestimate ko siya na nasa gitna. Nasa gitna siya ng 0 and 1. And then, yung y-intercept, 0 and negative 5. So, nasa baba yung negative 0.5. Inassume ko rin siya na nasa pagitan lang siya ng 0 and negative 1. And then, the third part, the zeros. So, alam naman natin yung zeros ay yung x-intercept. So, the zeros is x is equals to 1 half. And then, the last one, the domain and range. So, dito, may table dito na may x values of negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. All we need to do is substitute those x values sa rational expression na 2x minus 1 over x plus 2. As you can see, yung corresponding y value or g of x value ng negative 2 ay undefined. So, automatically, this is not acceptable in the set of domain. After completing the table of x values and y values, these values will be the coordinates or ordered pairs para ma-plot natin sa Cartesian plane. But before we plot the domain and range sa Cartesian plane, let's determine the interval notation of domain and range. Ang sabi ko kanina, ang kailangan nating malaman para ma-determine natin yung set ng values ng domain and range is the restrictions nila. Again, the restricted value in the domain is the vertical asymptote, while the restricted value in the range or the set of range is the horizontal asymptote. So, the domain set is all x is the set of real numbers such that x should not be equal to -2. And then, sa set naman ng range, all y is the set of real numbers such that y should not be equal to 2. Or, for the set of domain, x belongs to real numbers except for 2. And then sa range naman, y belongs to real numbers except for 2. Okay, plot natin yung values ng x at saka ng g of x or y. So, i-observe nyo na lang yung graph kung saan nakaplot yung x and y coordinates. As you observe, meron tayong y coordinates na fraction like 3/4 and 1/3. So, yung sa graph, yung 2, 3/4 or yung 2 and 3/4 dito, this is the letter G. Ang coordinates ng G ay 2 at saka 0.75. Kung napapansin nyo ay medyo malapit siya sa 1. And then, yung coordinates naman ng F ay 1 and 0.33. Ito yung 1 and 1/3. Sa pag-plot nito, di ba yung gitna ay 0.5? Medyo bahagyang mababa yung 0.33. Kaya kapag nag-assume kayo, so yung reference nyo ay yung 0.5. Kapag mas mataas sa 0.5, syempre yung point din, bahagyang mas mataas sa 0.5. And then kapag mas mababa naman sa 0.5, like 0.33, bahagyang mas mababa sa 0.5. You may now answer the assessment part B of the module. I hope you've understand the lesson, and if you have some questions regarding the topic, you may direct message me on Messenger or email me at niñarica.basco@deped.gov.ph. Thank you for watching.